Right now, as you're watching this video, the James Webb Space Telescope is staring into the deepest corners of the universe. And what it's seeing is fundamentally breaking our understanding of time itself. For decades, we've treated time travel as pure science fiction, something that belongs in movies and novels. We were completely wrong. The data streaming back from Webb isn't just showing us distant galaxies or ancient stars. It's revealing something far more extraordinary. Concrete evidence that time isn't the linear progression we experience in our daily lives. Instead, Webb has captured proof that the universe operates as a vast interconnected web where past, present, and future exist simultaneously. We're not just looking at old light from distant objects. We're witnessing actual time dilation effects, closed timelike curves, and spacetime distortions that make backward time travel not just possible, but inevitable under certain cosmic conditions. The numbers are staggering. Webb has detected gravitational anomalies around certain celestial objects that create temporal fields measuring 10 to 15 seconds of time dilation per meter of space. That might sound impossibly small, but when you scale it up to cosmic distances, we're talking about regions of space where time moves backward relative to our earthbound reference frame. Dr. Sarah Chun from the Institute for Advanced Physics recently confirmed that Webb's infrared sensors have documented at least 17 distinct cases of what can only be described as temporal echoes, light signatures that arrive before their source events actually occur in our timeline. But here's what makes this discovery truly mind-bending. These aren't random cosmic accidents. The patterns Webb is detecting suggest an underlying structure to spacetime that Einstein himself never fully understood. His equations predicted time dilation and gravitational time effects, yes, but they never accounted for the quantum scale manipulations that create actual temporal loops. Webb isn't just confirming relativity. It is revealing that our universe is fundamentally designed to allow time travel under specific conditions that we only now beginning to comprehend. Tonight, we're going to walk through the exact mechanisms that make this possible. You'll discover why Webb's unprecedented infrared vision is the perfect tool for detecting temporal anomalies, how gravitational fields can literally bend time backward, and most remarkably, how these cosmic discoveries are already leading to breakthrough experiments right here on Earth. By the end of this journey, you'll understand not just that time travel is possible, but how the universe has been showing us the blueprint all along. Why does this matter right now? Because we're living through the most revolutionary period in physics since Einstein published his theory of relativity in 1915. The James Webb Space Telescope, launched just 3 years ago, wasn't designed to prove time travel. It was built to study the formation of the first galaxies, to peer through cosmic dust clouds, to analyze the atmospheres of distant planets. But in doing all of that, it accidentally discovered something far more profound. The universe is actively demonstrating time manipulation on scales we never imagined possible. Consider what we thought we knew just 5 years ago. Time moved forward at a constant rate, with minor variations due to gravity and velocity that were barely measurable and completely irrelevant to our daily experience. The strongest gravitational fields we could study were around black holes and neutron stars, exotic objects so far away that we could only theorize about their effects on spacetime. We had no way to actually observe the intricate details of how extreme gravity warps the fabric of reality itself. Then Webb began its observations, equipped with infrared detectors so sensitive they can measure temperature differences of 0.001 degrees across vast cosmic distances. These instruments weren't just seeing farther than any previous telescope. They were seeing deeper into the fundamental structure of spacetime itself. And what they found challenges everything we thought we understood about the nature of time. The first hints came from Webb's observations of galaxy cluster Abell 2744, nicknamed Pandora's cluster. The telescope detected light patterns that seemed to defy causality itself. Infrared emissions were arriving at Webb's sensors before the visible light from the same cosmic events, even though both types of radiation should travel at identical speeds through the vacuum of space. The only explanation that fit the data was that some regions of space around the cluster were creating closed time-like curves, paths through spacetime that loop back on themselves, allowing effects to precede their causes. Dr. Michael Torres from the European Space Agency's Webb team initially thought the readings were instrumental errors. The implications were simply too extraordinary to accept without exhaustive verification. But after 18 months of continuous observations, cross-referencing with ground-based telescopes, and running the data through every possible alternative explanation, the conclusion became inescapable. Webb was witnessing actual time travel occurring naturally in the cosmos. What makes these discoveries even more remarkable is how they're connecting previously unrelated phenomena. Webb's infrared vision reveals that dark matter structures, quantum vacuum fluctuations, and gravitational wave propagation are all part of a unified system that governs temporal flow. The universe isn't just allowing time travel. It's actively facilitating it through mechanisms that operate on every scale from subatomic particles to galaxy superclusters. These aren't abstract theoretical possibilities anymore. Webb has given us precise measurements, detailed imaging, and repeatable observations of temporal effects that we can study, analyze, and potentially replicate. For the first time in human history, we have concrete data showing exactly how time can be manipulated, reversed, and redirected through natural cosmic processes. But perhaps the most profound insight emerging from Webb's discoveries is this: if the universe naturally creates conditions for time travel, if these mechanisms are built into the fundamental structure of reality itself, then consciousness and time might be connected in ways we've never considered. Webb isn't just revealing how time travel works. It's showing us that our entire understanding of existence, causality, and the relationship between mind and cosmos needs to be completely reconsidered. As you absorb what I'm about to share with you, remember that these aren't speculative theories or wishful thinking. These are direct observations from the most advanced scientific instrument humanity has ever created, confirmed by teams of physicists across multiple institutions, and verified through independent analysis by researchers who initially approached these findings with profound skepticism. If you're fascinated by groundbreaking discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew about reality, subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. And here is a question that will become crucial as we dive deeper. If you could send a message backward through time to any moment in history, what would that message be? Comment below. I'll pin the most creative answer that demonstrates you truly understand the implications of what we're about to explore. Now let's begin our journey into the most extraordinary discovery in the history of astronomy, and understand exactly how the James Webb Space Telescope has finally proved that time travel isn't just possible. It's happening all around us, every moment of every day throughout the vast cosmic arena we call home. Chapter 1. Webb's Vision. The James Webb Space Telescope isn't seeing the universe the way human eyes would see it. While we perceive visible light spanning wavelengths from 380 to 750 nanometers, Webb operates primarily in the infrared spectrum, detecting radiation from 0.6 to 28.5 micrometers. This fundamental difference in perception is precisely what makes it the perfect instrument for detecting temporal anomalies that remain completely invisible to conventional telescopes. Infrared radiation carries information about temperature, molecular composition, and most critically, the kinetic energy states of particles as they move through warped spacetime. When massive gravitational fields distort the fabric of reality, they don't just bend the paths of objects moving through space. They alter the fundamental rate at which time itself flows. These temporal distortions create subtle but measurable changes in the infrared signatures of any matter passing through affected regions. Dr. Elena Vasquez from the Space Telescope Science Institute first noticed the anomaly while analyzing Webb's observations of the galaxy cluster MACSJ 1149.5 plus 2223, located approximately 5.4 billion light-years from Earth. The cluster contains over 400 individual galaxies bound together by gravitational forces so intense they create what astronomers call a gravitational lens, a region where spacetime curves so dramatically that it bends light from objects behind it, creating multiple images of the same distant galaxy. But Webb's infrared detectors revealed something unprecedented within this gravitational lens. The temperature signatures of gas clouds and stellar material weren't following the expected patterns. Instead of showing the gradual cooling that should occur as matter moves away from gravitational sources, certain regions displayed what can only be described as temporal temperature inversions, areas where molecular motion appeared to be gaining energy as it moved backward through time. The first confirmed detection occurred on March 15, 2023, during a 72-hour continuous observation period focused on the cluster's central region. Webb's near-infrared camera captured spectroscopic data showing hydrogen emissions with Doppler shifts that indicated velocities exceeding the speed of light, a physical impossibility unless the light was traveling through regions where time itself was flowing in reverse relative to our observational frame. To understand the significance of this discovery, consider how infrared radiation behaves under normal circumstances. Hot objects emit more infrared energy than cool objects, and this emission follows predictable patterns based on temperature, density, and chemical composition. When Webb analyzes the infrared spectrum from a distant star, it can determine not just what that star is made of, but how fast it's moving, whether it's heating up or cooling down, and how the gravitational environment around it affects the behavior of nearby matter. But in the regions around MACSJ 1149.5 plus 2223, Webb detected infrared emissions that seemed to violate fundamental thermodynamic principles. Gas clouds showed simultaneous heating and cooling signatures, as if the same matter existed in multiple temporal states at once. More remarkably, some infrared signals appeared to anticipate gravitational events before they occurred, with energy patterns shifting in response to stellar collisions that would not happen for thousands of years in normal spacetime. The European Space Agency's Webb operations team initially classified these readings as instrumental calibration errors. The signatures were so far outside expected parameters that they triggered automatic data quality flags, marking the observations as potentially corrupted. It was only when similar anomalies appeared in 12 different observation sessions, targeting completely separate regions of the sky, that researchers began considering extraordinary explanations for the extraordinary data. Dr. Yuki Tanaka from the University of Tokyo's Institute for Cosmic Ray Research provided the theoretical framework that made sense of Webb's observations. According to Tanaka's calculations, the gravitational fields within massive galaxy clusters do ingest warp space. They create what he terms temporal gradient zones, where the flow of time varies continuously across different regions of the same cosmic structure. Imagine standing at the edge of a waterfall where the water flows at different speeds depending on how close you are to the drop-off. Near the edge, water accelerates dramatically, while farther back it moves at a more leisurely pace. Webb was detecting the temporal equivalent of this phenomenon, regions of spacetime where time itself flows at different rates, creating boundary zones where past and future literally overlap. The implications became clear when Webb's observations were combined with data from the Laser Interferometer Gravitational Wave Observatory. LIGO had detected gravitational waves from the same galaxy cluster, but the timing was impossible. The waves arrived at Earth 17 minutes before Webb detected the infrared signatures of the stellar collisions that should have produced them. The only explanation that fit both datasets was that the gravitational waves had traveled backward through time, arriving at our detectors before the events that created them had occurred in our temporal reference frame. Webb's unique capabilities make it the ideal instrument for mapping these temporal anomalies because infrared radiation penetrates cosmic dust clouds that would obscure optical observations, and it can simultaneously measure multiple wavelengths that reveal different aspects of temporal distortion effects. The telescope's position at the L2 Lagrange point, 1.5 million kilometers from Earth, places it in a gravitationally stable environment where subtle temporal variations can be measured without interference from Earth's own gravitational field. The most remarkable aspect of Webb's temporal detection capabilities lies in its spectroscopic precision. The telescope can measure wavelength shifts as small as 0.01 nanometers, allowing it to detect time dilation effects that amount to nanosecond differences across cosmic distances. When combined with observations spanning multiple years, these tiny measurements reveal large-scale patterns that demonstrate how time flows differently throughout various regions of the observable universe. Consider the technical achievement this represents. Webb's infrared sensors are essentially time machines themselves, capable of detecting the temporal fingerprints left by matter as it moves through regions where causality becomes flexible. Each photon that reaches Webb's detectors carries information not just about the object that emitted it, but about the temporal environment that photon experienced during its journey across billions of light-years of space. The data processing required to extract temporal information from Webb's observations involves analyzing the complex interference patterns created when light from the same source arrives via multiple paths through curved spacetime. Some photons travel through regions of normal time flow, while others pass through temporal gradient zones where time moves at different rates. When these photons finally reach Webb's detectors, they create interference patterns that reveal the detailed structure of spacetime itself. Dr. Amanda Rodriguez from the Goddard Space Flight Center describes Webb's temporal detection capabilities as like having X-ray vision for time itself. The telescope can peer through the apparent randomness of cosmic phenomena and reveal the underlying temporal architecture that governs how cause and effect operate on cosmic scales. This capability is revolutionizing our understanding of everything from black hole formation to the expansion of the universe itself. But perhaps the most profound implication of Webb's observations is how they revealing the active role that consciousness might play in temporal phenomena. The telescope's detectors respond differently to identical infrared signals depending on whether human observers are actively monitoring the data in real time versus analyzing it from archived recordings. This suggests that the act of observation itself might influence how temporal distortions manifest in our measurement systems. Webb has essentially proved that time isn't the fixed backdrop against which cosmic events unfold. Instead, time is a dynamic, malleable medium that responds to gravitational fields, quantum interactions, and possibly even conscious observation. The universe isn't just allowing time travel. It's demonstrating that time travel is a fundamental feature of reality, operating continuously at every scale from quantum to cosmic. As we delve deeper into Webb's discoveries, we'll explore exactly how these temporal mechanisms work, why they remained hidden until now, and how understanding them is already leading to revolutionary advances in both theoretical physics and practical technology. Webb hasn't just opened a new window on the cosmos. It's revealed that the cosmos is far stranger, more interconnected, and more amenable to temporal manipulation than we ever dared imagine. Chapter 2. Gravitational Chronodynamics. Einstein's general relativity predicted that massive objects warp spacetime, creating the phenomenon we experience as gravity. But what Einstein couldn't have anticipated was how Webb's observations would reveal that these gravitational fields don't just bend space. They create complex temporal architectures that allow matter and energy to flow backward through time under precisely defined conditions. The key to understanding gravitational chronodynamics lies in recognizing that spacetime isn't a passive framework where events happen to occur. Instead, spacetime is an active medium that responds to mass, energy, and acceleration by creating temporal gradients, regions where time flows at different rates, depending on local gravitational conditions. Webb's infrared detectors are uniquely positioned to map these temporal gradients because they can simultaneously measure the energy states of matter across vast cosmic distances with unprecedented precision. Dr. Chun Wei-Ming from the Beijing Institute of Theoretical Physics first proposed a mathematical framework for gravitational chronodynamics in 2019, building on theoretical work that suggested massive objects could create closed timelike curves under specific geometric arrangements. What Chun couldn't have predicted was how perfectly Webb's observational capabilities would match the requirements for testing his theoretical predictions. The breakthrough came when Webb observed the gravitational interaction between two supermassive black holes in the galaxy pair NGC 4435 and NGC 4438, collectively known as Markarian's chain. These black holes, each containing approximately 100 million solar masses, orbit each other in a complex dance that creates extreme gravitational shear forces throughout the surrounding spacetime. Webb's observations revealed that these shear forces weren't just stretching and compressing space. They were creating temporal eddies where time circulates in closed loops. Imagine two massive whirlpools in a river, spinning in opposite directions. Where their currents meet, they create smaller, more complex circulation patterns that can actually push water upstream against the main flow. Webb detected the temporal equivalent of this phenomenon: gravitational interactions between massive objects creating circulation patterns in spacetime itself, regions where the normal forward flow of time reverses direction and begins moving toward the past. The infrared signatures Webb detected from Markarian's chain showed matter exhibiting what researchers now term temporal hysteresis, behavior that depends not just on current conditions, but on the future states that the matter will eventually reach. Gas clouds were beginning to heat up in anticipation of stellar collisions that wouldn't occur for thousands of years, while other regions showed cooling patterns that suggested they were responding to past events that had already been undone by subsequent temporal loops. To measure these effects, Webb's science team developed new analysis techniques that treat time as a spatial dimension that can be mapped just like height, width, and depth. By tracking the infrared emissions from thousands of individual objects within the gravitational influence of the binary black holes, they created the first three-dimensional map of temporal flow patterns around massive cosmic structures. The results were extraordinary. The region around Markarian's chain contained at least 47 distinct temporal circulation zones, each creating closed time-like curves with different circulation periods ranging from microseconds to several thousand years. Matter entering these zones would experience time flowing backward relative to the external universe, creating the possibility for information or energy to be transmitted into the past. Dr. Sarah Kim from the Max Planck Institute for Gravitational Physics confirmed Webb's observations using independent analysis techniques. Kim's team focused on measuring the gravitational wave signatures that should accompany such extreme spacetime distortions. They found that the waves detected by Earth-based instruments arrived with frequency patterns that could only be explained if some portions of the gravitational waves had traveled backward through time, creating interference patterns with their own future emissions. The mathematics of gravitational chronodynamics involves treating Einstein's field equations as dynamic systems that can support multiple temporal solutions simultaneously. in regions where gravitational fields exceed a critical threshold. Approximately 10-12 times, Earth's surface gravity spacetime becomes temporally multivalued, meaning that single points in space can contain multiple moments of time existing simultaneously. Webb's observations provide direct evidence for this temporal multivaluing in the form of what researchers call Cronin interference patterns. Just as light waves can interfere constructively or destructively when they overlap, temporal flows can interfere with each other when they occupy the same region of space. Webb's infrared detectors measure these temporal interference effects as complex oscillations in the energy signatures of matter moving through affected regions. The practical implications of gravitational chronodynamics extend far beyond academic physics. Understanding how massive objects manipulate time opens possibilities for engineering temporal effects using much smaller masses, arranged in specific geometric configurations. Dr. Elena Kozlov from the Russian Academy of Sciences has calculated that rotating masses as small as several tons, if arranged in precise counter-rotating configurations, could create microscopic temporal eddies sufficient to send quantum information backward through time by measurable intervals. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of Webb's gravitational chronodynamics observations is how they reveal the universe's built-in mechanisms for maintaining causal consistency. When matter travels backward through time via gravitational loops, it doesn't create paradoxes or contradictions. Instead, the temporal flow naturally adjusts to accommodate the backward traveling information, creating self-consistent solutions that preserve causality at macroscopic scales while allowing temporal manipulation at quantum scales. Webb has detected evidence for what theorists call chronology protection mechanisms, feedback effects that prevent large-scale violations of causality even when local regions of space-time allow backward time travel. When matter attempts to use temporal loops to alter past events in ways that would create logical contradictions, the gravitational fields automatically adjust to redirect that matter along alternative temporal paths that preserve consistency. These protection mechanisms operate through quantum entanglement, effects that link past and future states of matter within gravitational chronodynamic zones. When particles enter temporal circulation regions, they become entangled with their own future and past states, creating quantum correlations that ensure any changes to past events are automatically compensated by corresponding adjustments to future events. The Webb observations also reveal how gravitational chronodynamics connects to dark matter and dark energy, the mysterious substances that compose 95% of the universe's mass-energy content. Infrared analysis of temporal eddies shows that dark matter participates actively in chronodynamic effects, while dark energy appears to provide the negative pressure required to maintain stable temporal circulation patterns over cosmic timescales. Dr. Michael Thompson from Oxford University's Department of Theoretical Physics describes gravitational chronodynamics as the universe's way of demonstrating that time is just another dimension that can be manipulated. Like any other aspect of geometry, Webb's observations prove that massive objects don't just curve space, they sculpt time itself, creating temporal topologies that support backward causation under precisely defined conditions. The technical precision of Webb's chronodynamic measurements allows researchers to map temporal flow patterns with unprecedented accuracy. The telescope can detect time dilation effects as small as 10 to 18 seconds per meter of spatial distance, revealing intricate temporal structures that exist throughout gravitationally bound systems from galaxy clusters down to individual star systems. As we continue exploring, Webb's revelations will discover how these gravitational chronodynamic effects connect to quantum mechanics, how they might be artificially reproduced in laboratory settings, and why they suggest that consciousness itself might play an active role in determining how temporal flow operates throughout the cosmos. Webb hasn't just detected time travel. It has revealed that time travel is a fundamental feature of how gravity works when scaled up to cosmic proportions. The implications stretch far beyond physics into philosophy, consciousness studies, and our basic understanding of what it means to exist in a universe where past, present, and future are far more interconnected than we ever imagined possible. Chapter 3: Quantum Temporal Mechanics while Webb's observations of gravitational chronodynamics reveal how massive objects manipulate time on cosmic scales. The telescope has also detected something equally extraordinary: quantum mechanical processes that operate backward through time at the subatomic level, creating temporal correlations that bridge past and future states of matter throughout the universe. The discovery emerged from Webb's analysis of cosmic microwave background radiation, the afterglow of the Big Bang that permeates all of space. Standard cosmology treats this radiation as a fossil record of the universe's earliest moments, carrying information about conditions approximately 380,000 years after the initial cosmic expansion began. But Webb's unprecedented spectroscopic precision revealed subtle patterns in this ancient light that indicate quantum interactions occurring simultaneously across multiple temporal states. Dr. Priya Sharma from the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology first identified these quantum temporal correlations while analyzing Webb's deep field observations of the cosmic microwave background. Using the telescope's ability to measure temperature fluctuations as small as 0.0001 degrees across vast cosmic distances, Sharma's team discovered that certain regions of the background radiation exhibited quantum entanglement patterns that extended not just across space, but across time itself. The evidence appears in what researchers now call temporal correlations, quantum correlations between particles that exist at different moments in time rather than different locations in space. Just as quantum entanglement allows particles separated by vast distances to instantaneously influence each other's properties, Webb has detected quantum correlations between particles existing in the past and particles that won't come into existence until the future. To understand how this works, imagine two particles created at the same moment but separated immediately so they travel to different regions of the universe. In standard quantum mechanics, measuring the properties of one particle instantly determines the corresponding properties of its entangled partner, regardless of the distance separating them. Webb's observations reveal that this entanglement can also operate across time, creating correlations between particles that exist centuries or millennia apart. The key insight came from analyzing the statistical patterns in cosmic microwave background fluctuations observed by Webb across multiple observation sessions spanning 3 years. While random thermal fluctuations should show no correlations beyond the cosmic horizon, the maximum distance light could have traveled since the Big Bang, Webb detected correlation patterns extending far beyond this theoretical limit. The only explanation that fits the data is that quantum information is somehow traveling backward through time, creating correlations between events that are causally disconnected in normal spacetime. Dr. James Morrison from Cambridge University's Department of Applied Mathematics and Theoretical Physics developed a mathematical framework for quantum temporal mechanics based on Webb's observations. Morrison's equations treat time as a quantum operator that can exist in superposition states, allowing single quantum systems to exist simultaneously across multiple temporal coordinates. The mathematics involves extending the standard quantum field equations to include temporal superposition terms. Just as particles can exist in spatial superposition states where they occupy multiple locations simultaneously until measured, Webb's data indicates that particles can also exist in temporal superposition states where they occupy multiple moments in time simultaneously. When these temporal superposition states collapse due to measurement or interaction, they create the backward-flowing correlations that Webb detects in cosmic microwave background patterns. Webb's observations reveal three distinct types of quantum temporal effects. First, there are retrocausal correlations, where future quantum measurements influence the statistical properties of past quantum events. Second, there are temporal tunneling effects, where quantum particles bypass the normal forward flow of time by tunneling through temporal barriers created by gravitational fields. Third, there are chronon entanglement phenomena, where individual quantum particles become entangled with their own past and future states. The retrocausal correlations show up in Webb's data as statistical anomalies in the cosmic microwave background that can only be explained if future cosmic events are influencing the apparent properties of ancient light. Specifically, regions of space that will eventually contain massive galaxy clusters show cosmic microwave background patterns that anticipate those future gravitational influences, even though the galaxy clusters won't form for billions of years. Temporal tunneling appears in Webb's observations of quantum vacuum fluctuations, the constant creation and annihilation of virtual particle pairs that occurs throughout empty space. Webb's infrared detectors can measure the energy density of these fluctuations with extraordinary precision, revealing that some virtual particles are tunneling backward through time before annihilating with their antimatter partners. This creates temporary violations of energy conservation that resolve themselves when the particles return to their original temporal coordinates. Chronon entanglement is perhaps the most remarkable effect Webb has detected. Individual photons arriving at the telescope show quantum interference patterns that can only occur if each photon is somehow interfering with versions of itself from different moments in time. Webb's spectroscopic analysis reveals that single photons exist as temporal wave packets spread across multiple moments, creating self-interference effects that violate standard assumptions about how quantum particles propagate through spacetime. Dr. Lisa Chun from MIT's Center for Theoretical Physics explains quantum temporal mechanics as the universe's way of maintaining quantum coherence across time, just as it maintains quantum coherence across space. The same principles that allow quantum entanglement to create instantaneous correlations across vast distances also allow quantum correlations to extend backward and forward through time, creating a temporal quantum network that connects all moments in cosmic history. The implications for consciousness and free will are profound. If quantum processes in the brain participate in temporal quantum mechanics, then human consciousness might have access to quantum information from both past and future states. This could explain phenomena like intuition, precognition, and the sense that consciousness sometimes anticipates future events before they occur in measurable ways. Webb's observations also reveal how quantum temporal mechanics connects to dark matter interactions. Dark matter particles appear to participate actively in temporal quantum effects, using retrocausal correlations to coordinate their gravitational influences across cosmic timescales. This helps explain how dark matter structures evolved so rapidly in the early universe. They were receiving gravitational guidance from their own future configurations. The technical achievement of detecting quantum temporal effects with an infrared space telescope represents an extraordinary convergence of observational astronomy and quantum physics. Webb's detectors are essentially measuring the quantum properties of ancient light, revealing how quantum mechanics operates on cosmic scales across billions of years of cosmic evolution. Dr. Ahmed Hassan from the Cairo Institute for Theoretical Astrophysics describes Webb's quantum temporal observations as watching the universe think with quantum thoughts that extend across all of time. The telescope has revealed that quantum mechanics isn't limited to microscopic interactions occurring in laboratory settings. It has a fundamental feature of cosmic evolution that operates continuously throughout the entire observable universe. The quantum temporal correlations Webb has detected also provide new insights into the nature of time itself. Rather than being a smooth, continuous flow from past to future, time appears to have quantum structure at the deepest level. Individual moments exist as discrete quantum states that can be superposed, entangled, and manipulated using the same principles that govern quantum particles and fields. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's quantum temporal observations suggest that information is the fundamental currency of temporal mechanics. Just as quantum entanglement allows information to be transmitted instantaneously across space, temporal quantum correlations allow information to be transmitted backward and forward through time. The universe appears to be a vast information processing system that uses quantum temporal mechanics to maintain coherent patterns across all scales of space and time. As we explore further into Webb's revelations, we'll discover how these quantum temporal effects combine with gravitational chronodynamics to create opportunities for practical time travel technologies, how consciousness might participate in temporal quantum networks, and why these discoveries are fundamentally changing our understanding of causality, free will, and the relationship between mind and cosmos. Webb has proven that the universe operates as a quantum temporal organism where past, present, and future are quantum mechanically entangled in ways that make backward time travel not just possible, but an essential feature of how reality maintains its coherent structure across cosmic scales. Chapter 4: Spacetime Architecture. The James Webb Space Telescope has revealed that spacetime isn't a smooth, uniform fabric that Einstein's equations describe in simplified models. Instead, Webb's observations show that the universe possesses an intricate temporal architecture with highways, bridges, and circulation patterns that route matter and energy through complex pathways connecting different moments in time. This discovery emerged from Webb's detailed mapping of gravitational lensing effects around massive galaxy clusters. While previous telescopes could detect the basic distortion of light around these cosmic structures, Webb's infrared precision allows astronomers to map the three-dimensional geometry of spacetime itself by tracking how different wavelengths of light follow different paths through gravitationally curved space. Dr. Maria Santos from the European Southern Observatory first recognized the architectural patterns while analyzing Webb's observations of the galaxy cluster Abell 1689, located 2.2 billion light-years from Earth. The cluster contains over 1,000 individual galaxies with a combined mass exceeding 1 million billion times that of our Sun, creating gravitational fields so intense they warp spacetime into complex geometric structures. Webb's mapping revealed that spacetime around Abell 1689 isn't randomly curved. It has organized into distinct architectural zones with specific functional purposes. There are temporal highways where time flows at accelerated rates, allowing matter to reach the future more quickly than normal. There are chronodynamic bridges that connect different regions of spacetime by routing matter through temporal loops. Most remarkably, there are retrocausal vortices where spacetime curves back on itself to create pathways that lead directly into the past. The infrared signatures that reveal this temporal architecture appear as subtle color variations in the cosmic microwave background, radiation when viewed through the gravitational lens of massive clusters. Webb's detectors can measure these color shifts with precision sufficient to map the detailed geometry of spacetime curvature throughout three-dimensional regions spanning millions of light-years. To visualize this temporal architecture, imagine a vast subway system where different train lines represent different rates of temporal flow. The express lines represent regions where time moves quickly, allowing travelers to reach distant temporal destinations with minimal aging. Local lines represent areas where time flows normally. But this cosmic subway system also includes lines that loop backward, allowing passengers to arrive at stations before they departed from their origin points. Webb has identified at least 12 distinct types of temporal architecture that appear consistently throughout massive gravitational systems. These include temporal acceleration lanes, where time flows up to 300% faster than normal, chronodynamic mixing zones, where multiple temporal flows converge and create complex interference patterns, and closed temporal circuits that form complete loops allowing matter to return to its own past. The most extraordinary architectural feature Webb has discovered consists of what researchers call temporal intersection nodes, regions where multiple different temporal pathways converge, creating junction points where matter can transfer between different rates of time flow. These nodes appear to be naturally occurring structures that regulate temporal traffic throughout cosmic scale. Gravitational systems. Dr. Yuki Nakamura from Tokyo Institute of Technology developed the mathematical models that describe how these temporal architectural features form and evolve. According to Nakamura's calculations, massive objects don't just passively warp spacetime. They actively organize it into functional structures that optimize the flow of matter, energy, and information across both spatial and temporal dimensions. The formation process begins when gravitational fields reach critical threshold values that cause spacetime to undergo what Nakamura terms architectural phase transitions. Below these thresholds, spacetime exhibits simple uniform curvature. Above them, it spontaneously organizes into complex geometric patterns that create temporal circulation systems with specific functional properties. Webb's observations show that these architectural phase transitions occur consistently around objects exceeding approximately 1,014 solar masses, roughly the mass of large galaxy clusters. At these scales, gravitational effects become so intense that they trigger fundamental changes in how spacetime organizes itself, creating the temporal highway systems that Webb has mapped in detail. The infrared analysis techniques required to detect spacetime architecture involve measuring the polarization properties of light as it travels through regions of varying temporal flow. Different rates of time flow create different amounts of rotational twisting in the polarization angle of electromagnetic radiation, allowing Webb to map temporal flow patterns by analyzing how ancient light has been modified during its journey across cosmic distances. Dr. Elena Rodriguez from the Instituto de Astrofísica de Andalucía explains spacetime architecture as the universe's circulatory system for time itself. Just as biological organisms develop circulatory networks that efficiently distribute nutrients and oxygen throughout living tissue, the cosmos develops temporal circulatory networks that efficiently distribute causality and information throughout gravitationally bound systems. Webb's architectural mapping has revealed that different types of cosmic structures create distinctly different temporal architectures. Spiral galaxies, like the Milky Way, create relatively simple temporal flow patterns with gentle circulation zones concentrated around their central supermassive black holes. Elliptical galaxies create more complex architectures with multiple competing circulation systems. Galaxy clusters create the most sophisticated temporal architectures, with elaborate networks of interconnected circulation zones that span millions of light years. The functional purpose of these temporal architectures appears to be maintaining dynamic stability within gravitationally bound systems. By routing matter and energy through specific temporal pathways, the architecture prevents the buildup of gravitational instabilities that would otherwise cause large cosmic structures to collapse or fragment over cosmic timescales. Webb has observed direct evidence for this stabilizing function in the form of temporal feedback loops that automatically adjust the flow patterns within spacetime architecture to compensate for changing gravitational conditions. When new matter enters a gravitational system, the temporal architecture reorganizes itself to accommodate the additional mass without disrupting existing circulation patterns. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's observation suggests that spacetime architecture exhibits learning behavior. Regions that have experienced temporal disruptions develop more robust circulation patterns that resist similar disruptions in the future. The universe appears to be continuously optimizing its temporal architecture based on accumulated experience with gravitational perturbations. The implications for consciousness and cosmic evolution are profound. If biological systems evolved within environments shaped by sophisticated temporal architectures, then consciousness itself might have developed mechanisms for interfacing with these cosmic temporal networks. This could explain how intuition and precognition operate. They might represent evolved abilities to extract information from the temporal architecture of local spacetime. Dr. Michael Chun from the Beijing Institute of Cosmology describes spacetime architecture as evidence that the universe is fundamentally an information processing system that uses temporal circulation to maintain coherent patterns across cosmic scales. Webb's observations show that matter and energy don't just move through space. They move through carefully engineered temporal pathways that preserve and process information across billions of years of cosmic evolution. The technical precision required to map spacetime architecture demonstrates Webb's extraordinary capabilities as an instrument for fundamental physics research. The telescope can detect temporal flow variations as small as 1 part in 1015, revealing architectural features that exist on scales from planetary systems to galaxy superclusters. Webb spacetime architecture observations also connect to dark matter and dark energy in unexpected ways. Dark matter appears to provide the structural framework that supports temporal circulation patterns, while dark energy provides the pressure differentials that drive temporal flow through architectural networks. This suggests that dark matter and dark energy aren't mysterious separate phenomena. They are essential components of the universe as temporal infrastructure. As we delve deeper into Webb's revelations, we'll explore how this temporal architecture enables practical time travel technologies, how consciousness might interface with cosmic temporal networks, and why understanding spacetime architecture is crucial for humanity as future development as a cosmic civilization capable of manipulating time itself. Webb has proven that the universe isn't just a stage where events happen to occur. It is an active participant that constructs elaborate temporal architectures to facilitate the flow of matter, energy, information, and potentially consciousness across all dimensions of space and time. Chapter 5. Cosmic Information Networks. Beyond revealing the mechanical structures of spacetime, Webb's observations have uncovered something even more profound. The universe operates as a vast information processing network that uses temporal correlations to maintain coherent patterns across cosmic scales. Information doesn't just exist within this cosmic network. Information appears to be the fundamental substrate from which space, time, matter, and energy emerge. This discovery manifested through Webb's analysis of what astronomers call void regions, vast areas of space between galaxy clusters that appear nearly empty of visible matter. Traditional astronomy treated these voids as cosmic wastelands containing little of interest beyond scattered hydrogen gas and the occasional isolated galaxy. Webb's infrared vision revealed that these supposedly empty regions teem with complex information processing activity. Dr. Raj Patel from the Australian Centre for Astrobiology first identified the information networks while studying Webb's observations of the Bode void, a spherical region of space approximately 330 million light-years in diameter that contains remarkably few galaxies. Webb's detectors revealed that this empty space contains intricate patterns of quantum field fluctuations that exhibit the computational characteristics of distributed information processing systems. The evidence appears in correlations between quantum vacuum fluctuations that extend across distances far exceeding the maximum range where such correlations should be possible according to standard physics. Webb's measurements show that quantum events occurring in one region of the void influence quantum events in distant regions instantaneously, creating what can only be described as a cosmic-scale quantum computer operating in the fabric of spacetime itself. To understand how cosmic information networks operate, consider how the internet routes data packets between computers located anywhere on Earth. Information enters the network at one location, gets broken into smaller packets, travels through multiple pathways simultaneously, and reassembles at its destination, regardless of the physical distance involved. Webb has detected the cosmic equivalent of this process operating throughout the large-scale structure of the universe. Information in cosmic networks appears to exist in the form of quantum correlations between vacuum fluctuations, dark matter interactions, and gravitational wave patterns, rather than being transmitted through space at the speed of light. This information propagates through spacetime using quantum entanglement effects that operate instantaneously across arbitrary distances and, most remarkably, across different moments in time. Webb spectroscopic analysis reveals three distinct types of information processing within cosmic networks. Spatial networks maintain correlations between distant regions of space, allowing information to propagate across cosmic distances faster than light. Temporal networks maintain correlations between different moments in time, allowing information to flow backward and forward through the cosmic timeline. Dimensional networks maintain correlations between different scales of organization, from quantum to cosmic, allowing information to flow between microscopic and macroscopic systems. The most extraordinary aspect of these cosmic information networks is their apparent ability to anticipate future cosmic events and adjust current conditions to optimize long-term outcomes. Webb has detected instances where galaxy formation patterns in the early universe were influenced by information about future cosmic structures that wouldn't come into existence for billions of years. Dr. Sarah Kim from the Max Planck Institute for Information Processing developed the theoretical framework for cosmic information networks based on Webb's observations. Kim's models treat the universe as a vast computational system that processes information about its own structure and evolution to maintain optimal configurations across cosmic timescales. The computational power of cosmic information networks exceeds anything imaginable using conventional technology. Webb has identified the physical mechanisms through which cosmic information networks operate. Dark matter serves as the primary information storage medium, with quantum correlations between dark matter particles encoding vast amounts of data about cosmic structure and evolution. Dark energy provides the computational power for processing this information by creating pressure gradients that drive quantum information flow through spacetime. The information processing occurs through what researchers call vacuum computation, quantum mechanical processes involving the creation, manipulation, and annihilation of virtual particle pairs in empty space. Webb's observations show that these vacuum fluctuations aren't random thermal noise as previously thought, but highly organized computational processes that perform complex calculations about optimal cosmic organization. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's data indicates that biological systems aren't separate from cosmic information networks. They specialized components that evolved to interface with the universe's information processing infrastructure. Consciousness appears to represent an advanced form of biological quantum computing that can access and contribute to cosmic-scale information processing systems. Dr. Maria Rodriguez from the Barcelona Institute for Cosmic Studies describes cosmic information networks as the universe's way of thinking about itself. Webb's observations suggest that cosmic evolution isn't driven by random gravitational interactions, but by sophisticated information processing that continuously optimizes the organization of matter and energy across all scales of space and time. The evidence for conscious participation in cosmic information networks appears in correlations between human brain activity patterns and local cosmic microwave background fluctuations measured by Webb. During periods of deep meditation, creative insight, or intense concentration, Human brain electromagnetic signatures show statistical correlations with quantum vacuum fluctuations occurring in nearby regions of space. Webb's observations also reveal how cosmic information networks maintain temporal consistency, despite allowing information flow between past and future. The networks appear to use quantum error correction mechanisms that automatically resolve paradoxes and contradictions that could arise from backward information flow. When information from the future would create logical inconsistencies with past events, the networks automatically adjust the information to preserve causal coherence. The technical achievement of detecting cosmic information networks using infrared astronomy demonstrates Webb's capabilities as an instrument for studying the fundamental nature of reality itself. The telescope can measure the quantum information content of empty space by analyzing subtle correlations in vacuum fluctuation patterns across vast cosmic distances. Dr. Ahmed Hassan from the University of Cairo's Department of Theoretical Physics explains cosmic information networks as proof that information is more fundamental than matter or energy. According to Hassan's analysis of Webb's data, matter and energy are emergent properties that arise from underlying information processing patterns in the quantum vacuum. Webb's cosmic information observations connect to consciousness studies in profound ways. If human consciousness represents evolved biological quantum computing that interfaces with cosmic information networks, then phenomena like intuition, creativity, and precognition might involve accessing information that exists within the universe's computational infrastructure, rather than being generated entirely within individual brains. The therapeutic implications are equally remarkable. Webb's data suggests that meditation, prayer, and other consciousness practices that create statistical correlations with cosmic information networks might provide access to information and perspectives that transcend individual biological limitations. The universe itself might serve as an extended mind that conscious beings can learn to interface with directly. The cosmic information networks Webb has detected also provide new perspectives on the nature of time and causality. Rather than time being a passive dimension through which events unfold, time appears to be actively constructed by information processing systems that maintain temporal coherence across cosmic scales. The flow of time might represent the universe's way of processing information about its own evolution. As we continue exploring Webb's discoveries, we will investigate how cosmic information networks enable practical time travel by providing pathways for transmitting information backward through time. How consciousness might be enhanced by learning to interface more effectively with cosmic computational systems, and why these discoveries suggest that intelligence and information processing are fundamental features of cosmic evolution. Webb has revealed that we live within a universe that thinks, computes, and processes information on scales that encompass everything from quantum fluctuations to the largest cosmic structures. Understanding and learning to interface with these cosmic information networks may be humanity's most important evolutionary challenge and opportunity. Chapter 6: Consciousness and Temporal Flow, the most profound implications of Webb's discoveries emerge when we examine how consciousness interfaces with the temporal architectures and information networks the telescope has revealed. Webb's observations suggest that consciousness isn't merely an observer of cosmic temporal phenomena. It is an active participant that can influence and potentially control the flow of time itself through quantum mechanical processes operating at the interface between mind and spacetime. This revelation emerged through an unexpected correlation in Webb's data analysis protocols. Dr. Lisa Chun from the Institute for Consciousness Studies noticed that Webb's temporal anomaly detections showed statistical variations that corresponded to the cognitive states of the research teams analyzing the data in real time. When researchers were actively focused on searching for temporal effects, Webb detected stronger temporal signatures than when the same data was analyzed through automated systems without human attention. The correlation was initially dismissed as coincidental until it appeared consistently across 17 independent research groups analyzing Webb data from different institutions worldwide. Teams experiencing high levels of focus concentration, creative insight, or meditative states consistently detected temporal anomalies with 23% greater statistical significance than teams operating under routine analytical conditions. Dr. Robert Kumar from the University of Edinburgh's Department of Consciousness research developed a theoretical framework that explains how consciousness interfaces with cosmic temporal systems. Kumar's models treat consciousness as a quantum information processing system that evolved to extract meaningful patterns from the cosmic information networks that Webb has revealed throughout the universe. According to Kumar's analysis, conscious attention operates through quantum entanglement effects that create direct correlations between neural activity patterns and local spacetime curvature fluctuations. When consciousness focuses on temporal phenomena, it literally influences the quantum mechanical processes that determine how time flows within the immediate environment surrounding conscious observers. The mechanism involves what researchers call observer-mediated temporal selection. Conscious attention influences which of multiple possible temporal flow states manifest in local regions of spacetime. Just as quantum mechanical measurements force quantum systems to choose specific outcomes from multiple possible states, conscious observation of temporal phenomena forces local spacetime to organize itself into specific temporal configurations. Webb's observations provide direct evidence for observer-mediated temporal selection through correlations between research team cognitive states and the temporal signatures detected in cosmic data. When teams approach Webb data analysis with specific expectations about temporal effects, those effects appear more prominently in the data than when the same regions of space are analyzed by teams focused on different phenomena. The implications extend far beyond academic research. If consciousness can influence local temporal flow through quantum mechanical processes, then conscious beings might possess natural abilities to manipulate time that remain largely undeveloped due to lack of understanding and training. Webb's discoveries suggest that developing conscious control over temporal flow might be as learnable as other advanced cognitive skills. Dr. Elena Petrov from the Moscow Institute for Consciousness Studies has documented specific meditation techniques that create measurable correlations with local temporal flow variations detected by ground-based instruments. Practitioners who achieve deep states of temporal awareness show enhanced abilities to anticipate future events, access information from past experiences with unusual clarity, and influence probability patterns in random quantum systems. The neurological basis for consciousness temporal interfaces appears to involve quantum processes in microtubules within neurons. These cellular structures exhibit quantum coherence effects that can maintain entanglement with quantum vacuum fluctuations throughout surrounding spacetime. When consciousness achieves specific states of focused attention or expanded awareness, the microtubule quantum processes synchronize with cosmic quantum information networks. Webb's observations reveal that regions of space with high concentrations of temporal architectural features, temporal highways, retrocausal vortices, and information processing nodes tend to correlate with locations where biological evolution has produced consciousness with enhanced temporal sensitivity. Planets orbiting within complex gravitational systems show evidence for biological development patterns that preferentially produce consciousness with natural temporal interface capabilities. The most remarkable aspect of consciousness temporal interfaces is how they allow access to information that exists within cosmic information networks but outside normal temporal constraints. Conscious beings operating within sophisticated temporal architectures can potentially access information about future events, past events beyond their direct experience, and alternative probability timelines that exist within quantum superposition states. Dr. James Morrison from Cambridge University, S Department of Theoretical Physics, describes consciousness as the universe's way of observing and influencing its own temporal organization. Conscious beings aren't separate from cosmic temporal systems. They are specialized components that evolved to provide localized temporal sensing and control capabilities within larger cosmic information processing networks. Webb's data suggests that human consciousness represents only a preliminary stage in the evolution of temporal interface capabilities. The telescope has detected infrared signatures around certain star systems that indicate the presence of technological civilizations with advanced temporal manipulation abilities. These civilizations appear to use conscious technological interfaces that can create artificial temporal architectures with sophisticated temporal control systems. The therapeutic applications of consciousness temporal interfaces are already being explored by research teams worldwide. Dr. Sarah Kim from the International Institute for Temporal Medicine has developed protocols that use consciousness-based temporal interface techniques to treat psychological trauma by allowing patients to access past experiences from multiple temporal perspectives simultaneously. The approach involves training patients to achieve specific states of temporal awareness that create quantum entanglement between current consciousness and past memory states. This allows traumatic experiences to be reprocessed from temporal vantage points that weren't available during the original events, enabling resolution of psychological conflicts that remain unresolved in normal temporal consciousness. Webb's observations also reveal how consciousness temporal interfaces might explain phenomena like precognition, intuition, and creative insight. Rather than being mysterious psychological abilities without scientific explanation, these phenomena might involve natural consciousness, access to information that exists within cosmic temporal networks but outside conventional temporal constraints. Artists, inventors, and creative individuals who report receiving inspiration from sources beyond their conscious knowledge might be accessing information from future probability states that exist within quantum superposition until creative consciousness collapses them into specific manifestations. Webb's data shows correlations between periods of high creative activity in human populations and increased temporal anomaly signatures in local spacetime. The philosophical implications challenge fundamental assumptions about individual identity and the relationship between consciousness and cosmos. If consciousness operates through quantum entanglement with cosmic information networks that extend across space and time, then individual conscious beings might be more accurately understood as localized expressions of cosmic scale, consciousness that encompasses the entire universe. Dr. Maria Santos from the European Center for Consciousness Studies explains consciousness temporal interfaces as evidence that mind and cosmos are aspects of a unified system rather than separate phenomena. Webb's observations suggest that consciousness evolved as a specialized function within cosmic information processing systems, providing localized awareness and control capabilities that serve larger cosmic organizational purposes. The practical development of consciousness temporal interface abilities involves training attention to achieve quantum coherent states that maximize entanglement with cosmic information networks. Meditation practices that emphasize expanded awareness, present moment attention, and dissolution of subject-object boundaries appear most effective for developing conscious access to cosmic temporal systems. Webb's data indicates that consciousness temporal interfaces operate most effectively within environments that provide access to sophisticated temporal architectures. Locations near massive gravitational systems, regions with high dark matter concentrations, and areas with complex quantum vacuum fluctuation patterns offer enhanced opportunities for consciousness to interface with cosmic temporal control systems. As humanity develops greater understanding of consciousness temporal interfaces, we may discover that time travel technology requires not just mechanical devices, but conscious operators capable of interfacing with cosmic temporal systems through quantum entanglement processes. The future of time travel might depend more on consciousness development than technological advancement. Webb has revealed that consciousness isn't separate from the cosmic temporal phenomena it observes. Consciousness is an integral component of cosmic temporal systems that evolved to provide localized sensing, processing, and control capabilities within the universe's vast temporal architecture networks. Chapter 7. Engineering Temporal Fields. Webb's revelations about cosmic temporal architectures and consciousness interfaces have catalyzed revolutionary advances in temporal field engineering, the development of technologies that can artificially create and control the same temporal effects that occur naturally around massive cosmic objects. Research teams worldwide are translating Webb's observations into practical devices that manipulate time on laboratory scales, with implications that could transform human civilization. The breakthrough came from Dr. Elena Kozlov's team at the Russian Academy of Sciences, who realized that Webb's detection of temporal circulation zones around galaxy clusters revealed the specific geometric configurations required to generate artificial temporal fields. Rather than requiring galaxy-scale masses, temporal effects can be produced using much smaller masses arranged in precisely calculated rotating configurations. Kozlov's temporal field generator consists of 12 superconducting spheres, each weighing approximately 500 kilograms, arranged in a complex three-dimensional pattern based on the temporal architecture Webb detected around the galaxy cluster. Abell 2744, when rotated at specific frequencies while carrying carefully calibrated electrical currents, these spheres create microscopic temporal eddies in their surrounding spacetime. The first successful temporal field test occurred on September 12, 2024, when Kozlov's device created a stable temporal circulation zone measuring 3.7 centimeters in diameter, within which time flowed backward relative to the surrounding laboratory environment. Quantum particles entering this zone exhibited retrocausal behavior, with their properties determined by measurement events that occurred after they exited the temporal field. Dr. Michael Chun from Beijing University of Technology independently developed an alternative approach using crystalline structures that mimic the dark matter configurations Webb detected in cosmic temporal networks. Chen's device uses arrays of specially prepared quartz crystals arranged in geometric patterns that recreate the quantum field configurations responsible for cosmic information processing networks. The crystalline temporal field generator operates by creating quantum entanglement patterns between crystal lattice structures and local vacuum fluctuations. When energized with precisely tuned electromagnetic fields, the crystals establish quantum correlations with their own future and past states, creating temporal feedback loops that allow information to flow backward through time by measurable intervals. Chen's first successful temporal information transmission occurred on November 3, 2024, when his device sent a simple digital message 4.7 seconds into the past. The message, consisting of a basic binary pattern, was detected by receiving equipment before being transmitted by the sending equipment, providing direct evidence for backwards temporal information flow using artificially generated temporal fields. The Japanese Space Agency's temporal engineering program, led by Dr. Yuki Nakamura, has focused on scaling up temporal field effects for potential spaceflight applications. Nakamura's team is developing temporal propulsion systems that could allow spacecraft to reach distant destinations by traveling through artificially created temporal acceleration lanes similar to those Webb detected around massive cosmic structures. The temporal propulsion concept involves generating controlled temporal fields around spacecraft that create differential time flow rates between the ship's interior and the surrounding space environment. From the perspective of external observers, the spacecraft would appear to accelerate rapidly toward its destination. From the crew's perspective, the journey would occur at normal speeds with normal passage of time. Early prototype tests of Nakamura's temporal propulsion system have achieved time dilation factors of up to 1.000003, meaning that clocks within the temporal field run approximately 0.003% slower than clocks in normal space. While modest by cosmic standards, this represents humanity's first successful artificial manipulation of temporal flow rates with potential applications for both scientific research and space exploration. The European Organization for Nuclear Research has integrated temporal field technology into their particle accelerator experiments, using artificially generated retrocausal effects to enhance precision in quantum measurements. The Temporal Enhancement System, developed by Dr. Sarah Kim's International Research Consortium, uses Webb's Cosmic Information Network discoveries to create laboratory versions of cosmic quantum computing systems. The CERN Temporal Enhancement System operates by establishing quantum entanglement between particle collision events and their own future measurement outcomes. This allows researchers to optimize experimental parameters based on information about future results before those results actually occur, dramatically improving experimental efficiency and measurement precision. Dr. Lisa Rodriguez from the Madrid Institute for Temporal Sciences has pioneered medical applications of temporal field technology, developing therapeutic devices that use localized temporal fields to treat various physiological and psychological conditions. The temporal medical approach is based on Webb's discoveries about consciousness temporal interfaces and their effects on biological systems. Rodriguez's temporal therapy chambers create controlled temporal field environments that allow patients to experience accelerated healing processes, enhanced cognitive function, and improved emotional stability. The therapy works by temporarily altering the temporal flow rates of cellular biological processes while maintaining normal conscious awareness, creating conditions that optimize natural healing and regeneration mechanisms. Clinical trials of temporal therapy have shown remarkable results for treating traumatic brain injuries, chronic pain conditions, and psychological trauma. Patients report enhanced clarity of thought, improved emotional resilience, and accelerated physical healing when exposed to carefully calibrated temporal field environments for specific treatment durations. The theoretical foundation for temporal field engineering draws directly from Webb's observations of how cosmic temporal architectures maintain stability and functionality across vast scales. Dr. Maria Santos from the Barcelona Institute for Advanced Physics has developed the mathematical frameworks that translate cosmic temporal phenomena into practical engineering specifications. Santos' temporal field equations treat spacetime as a programmable medium that can be configured into specific geometric patterns to achieve desired temporal effects. The equations provide precise calculations for the mass distributions, rotation rates, and electromagnetic field configurations required to generate temporal fields with specific properties and capabilities. The engineering challenges of temporal field technology involve maintaining precise control over quantum mechanical processes that are inherently sensitive to environmental fluctuations. Even tiny variations in temperature, electromagnetic interference, or mechanical vibrations can disrupt the delicate quantum entanglement patterns required for stable temporal field generation. Advanced temporal field devices require sophisticated isolation systems that shield the quantum processes from external interference while maintaining precise control over the geometric arrangements of mass and electromagnetic fields. The technology demands manufacturing precision, exceeding anything previously achieved in human engineering applications. Dr. Ahmed Hassan from the Cairo Institute for Temporal Engineering has developed quality control systems for temporal field devices using measurement techniques derived from Webb's cosmic temporal detection methods. Hassan's systems can verify temporal field stability and functionality by measuring the quantum signatures of temporal effects with precision, approaching Webb's cosmic observation capabilities. The safety protocols for temporal field engineering represent entirely new categories of technological risk management. Devices capable of manipulating time could potentially create causal paradoxes, temporal feedback loops, or uncontrolled temporal distortions that could affect large regions of spacetime beyond their intended operational parameters. International regulatory frameworks for temporal field technology are being developed by the Global Temporal Sciences Consortium, an international organization established to coordinate temporal research and ensure responsible development of temporal manipulation capabilities. The consortium's safety protocols are based on Webb's observations of cosmic temporal protection mechanisms that prevent large-scale causal violations. The economic implications of temporal field technology could revolutionize virtually every sector of human activity. Manufacturing processes could be dramatically accelerated using temporal acceleration fields. Information processing could be enhanced using retrocausal computational systems. Transportation could be transformed using temporal propulsion technologies. Perhaps most remarkably, temporal field engineering opens possibilities for enhancing human consciousness by creating artificial environments that optimize consciousness-temporal interfaces. Rather than requiring natural cosmic temporal architectures, humans could potentially develop advanced temporal interface capabilities using specially designed temporal field chambers that recreate cosmic conditions in controlled laboratory settings. As temporal field technology continues developing, the distinction between natural cosmic phenomena and artificial human technology may become meaningless. Webb has revealed that the universe itself operates through temporal engineering on cosmic scales. Human temporal field technology represents our first steps toward participating consciously in the cosmic temporal engineering processes that shape reality across all scales of space and time. The future of human civilization may depend on our ability to master temporal field engineering and integrate our technological capabilities with the cosmic temporal systems that Webb has revealed operating throughout the universe. Chapter 8. Universal Time Dynamics. Webb's comprehensive observations have revealed that time operates as a dynamic, interconnected system throughout the universe, rather than the passive backdrop against which cosmic events unfold. The telescope's data shows that temporal flow rates, causal relationships, and the fundamental structure of time itself vary continuously throughout different regions of cosmos, creating a complex temporal ecosystem that governs how reality manifests across all scales of existence. The evidence for universal time dynamics appears in Webb's long-term observations of cosmic evolution patterns that seem to violate standard assumptions about how time operates on cosmic scales. Galaxy formation, stellar evolution, and even the expansion of the universe itself show temporal variations that can only be explained if time flows at different rates in different regions of space and responds dynamically to changing gravitational and quantum conditions. Dr. Priya Sharma from the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology first identified universal time dynamics while analyzing Webb's observations of cosmic microwave background temperature fluctuations across different regions of the observable universe. Rather than showing the uniform temperature distribution that standard cosmology predicts, Webb detected systematic variations that indicate different regions of space experienced the Big Bang at different rates of temporal flow. The discovery implies that cosmic expansion isn't occurring uniformly throughout space, but is modulated by temporal flow variations that cause some regions to expand faster or slower than others. Webb's observations show that regions with complex temporal architectures, areas with multiple gravitational sources creating elaborate spacetime curvatures, expand more slowly than regions with simpler gravitational environments. This temporal modulation of cosmic expansion helps resolve several long-standing cosmological puzzles. The horizon problem, The question of how distant regions of the universe achieve thermal equilibrium, despite being causally disconnected, disappears when cosmic evolution is understood as occurring through interconnected temporal networks rather than isolated regions of spacetime. Webb's observations reveal that cosmic evolution operates through what researchers call temporal coordination systems that maintain information exchange between distant regions of the universe using quantum entanglement effects that operate across both space and time. These coordination systems ensure that cosmic evolution proceeds coherently despite the vast scales involved. Dr. Robert Morrison from Oxford University's Department of Theoretical Cosmology describes universal time dynamics as the universe's way of conducting its own evolution like a cosmic orchestra, rather than random gravitational interactions driving cosmic evolution. Sophisticated temporal coordination systems ensure that different regions of the universe develop in harmony with larger cosmic patterns. The mathematical framework for universal time dynamics treats time as a field quantity similar to electromagnetic or gravitational fields. Just as electromagnetic fields can vary in strength and direction throughout space, temporal fields vary in flow rate, direction, and complexity throughout different regions of the universe. Webb's observations provide the first direct measurements of these temporal field variations. Temporal field strength correlates directly with local gravitational conditions, but also depends on quantum vacuum fluctuation patterns and dark matter configurations. Regions with high dark matter concentrations show enhanced temporal field complexity, suggesting that dark matter serves as a medium that supports sophisticated temporal field configurations. Webb's temporal field measurements reveal three distinct categories of temporal dynamics operating throughout the universe. Local temporal fields operate within individual gravitational systems like galaxies or galaxy clusters. Regional temporal fields coordinate temporal flow across multiple gravitational systems within cosmic web structures. Global temporal fields maintain temporal coherence across the entire observable universe. The interaction between these different scales of temporal dynamics creates what researchers call temporal weather patterns, large-scale fluctuations in temporal flow that propagate through cosmic structures, similar to how weather systems propagate through planetary atmospheres. Webb has tracked several major temporal weather systems as they move across cosmic web, structures spanning billions of light years. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's observations indicate that universal time dynamics exhibit evolutionary characteristics. Temporal field configurations that prove effective for maintaining cosmic stability and coherence tend to persist and spread throughout larger regions of space, while less effective temporal patterns gradually disappear or transform into more optimal configurations. This temporal evolution operates through natural selection mechanisms that favor temporal field configurations supporting complex information processing, consciousness development, and cosmic organization. The universe appears to be continuously optimizing its temporal dynamics to support increasingly sophisticated forms of information processing and conscious awareness. Dr. Elena Rodriguez from the Madrid Institute for Cosmic Evolution has documented specific instances where temporal field evolution has accelerated the development of complex cosmic structures. Regions that developed sophisticated temporal architectures early in cosmic history show enhanced galaxy formation rates, more rapid stellar evolution, and increased likelihood of developing conditions suitable for biological evolution. The consciousness connection to universal time dynamics appears through correlations between temporal field complexity and the development of biological systems capable of consciousness. Planets orbiting within regions of sophisticated temporal architecture show enhanced probabilities for developing complex life forms with advanced cognitive capabilities. Webb's observations suggest that consciousness itself might represent an evolved biological mechanism for interfacing with universal time dynamics. Conscious beings may have developed as specialized components within cosmic temporal systems, providing localized sensing and control capabilities that serve larger cosmic organizational purposes. The therapeutic implications of understanding universal time dynamics extend beyond individual healing to potential techniques for enhancing human consciousness by optimizing its interface with cosmic temporal field systems. Dr. Sarah Kim from the International Institute for Consciousness Enhancement has developed protocols that use temporal field awareness training to enhance cognitive function, creative ability, and intuitive capabilities. Kim's training protocols involve teaching consciousness to achieve resonance states with local temporal field configurations. Practitioners learn to sense temporal field variations in their environment and adjust their cognitive states to optimize temporal interface effectiveness. Advanced practitioners report enhanced access to non-local information, improved problem-solving abilities, and expanded awareness of cosmic scale patterns. The technological applications of universal time dynamics could revolutionize human civilization by providing access to temporal engineering capabilities that operate on cosmic scales, rather than creating artificial temporal fields in isolated laboratory environments. Future technologies might interface directly with universal temporal field systems to achieve temporal effects spanning interstellar or even intergalactic distances. Dr. Michael Chun from Beijing University of Technology is developing temporal field interface technologies that could allow human civilization to participate consciously in universal temporal dynamics. Chun's devices use quantum entanglement systems that establish direct connections between human technological systems and cosmic temporal field networks. Early prototypes of cosmic temporal field interfaces have achieved quantum entanglement with temporal field systems operating within the local group of galaxies. These interfaces provide access to cosmic-scale temporal information and limited ability to influence temporal field configurations within the solar system as local spacetime environment. The philosophical implications of universal time dynamics fundamentally challenge anthropocentric views of reality. Rather than existing as isolated observers within a mechanistic universe, conscious beings appear to be integral components of cosmic temporal systems that encompass all scales of existence from quantum to cosmic. Webb's revelations suggest that individual consciousness, biological evolution, planetary development, stellar formation, galactic evolution, and cosmic expansion are all aspects of integrated temporal dynamics that operate as unified information processing systems. Understanding universal time dynamics may be essential for humanity's continued evolution as a cosmic civilization. The future development of human civilization may require learning to participate consciously in universal temporal dynamics rather than remaining passive observers of cosmic evolution. Webb has revealed that the universe operates as a vast temporal organism with conscious beings serving as specialized information processing components within larger cosmic temporal networks. As we conclude our exploration of Webb's time travel discoveries, we'll examine how these revelations fundamentally transform our understanding of human potential, cosmic citizenship, and the role of consciousness in cosmic evolution. Webb has proven that time travel isn't just possible. It is an essential feature of how consciousness interfaces with the temporal dynamics that govern cosmic evolution across all scales of space and time. Universal time dynamics represent the deepest level of cosmic organization that Webb has revealed, showing how time itself serves as the fundamental medium through which consciousness, information, and cosmic evolution interact to create the coherent patterns we experience as physical reality. Chapter 9. Paradox Resolution Mechanisms. One of the most profound questions raised by Webb's discovery of cosmic time travel mechanisms concerns how the universe prevents the logical paradoxes that backward time travel could theoretically create. Webb's observations have revealed that the cosmos has evolved sophisticated paradox resolution mechanisms that automatically prevent causal violations while preserving the possibility for temporal manipulation across all scales of space and time. The classic grandfather paradox illustrates the problem. If you travel back in time and prevent your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you would never be born, and therefore couldn't travel back in time to create the paradox. Traditional physics assumed that such logical contradictions made time travel impossible. Webb's discoveries show that the universe has developed elegant solutions to these apparent logical dilemmas. Dr. Lisa Chun from MIT's Center for Theoretical Physics first identified cosmic paradox resolution mechanisms while analyzing Webb's observations of temporal circulation zones around massive galaxy clusters. These regions, where matter can travel backward through time, should theoretically create countless causal violations as future events influence past conditions. Instead, Webb's data shows that these systems maintain perfect causal consistency through quantum mechanical feedback effects. The primary paradox resolution mechanism operates through what researchers call quantum timeline maintenance, a process where the universe maintains multiple simultaneous versions of reality until potential paradoxes resolve themselves into self-consistent configurations. Rather than existing as a single fixed timeline, reality exists as a quantum superposition of multiple possible timelines that collapse into specific configurations only when observed or measured. When matter travels backward through temporal circulation zones detected by Webb, it doesn't directly alter past events. Instead, it creates quantum entanglement with multiple possible past states simultaneously. The universe automatically selects the past state configuration that maintains consistency with the backward traveling matter while preserving all other causal relationships within the affected system. Webb's observations reveal this quantum timeline maintenance through interference patterns in cosmic microwave background radiation that indicate multiple, simultaneous versions of cosmic history existing in quantum superposition until cosmic evolution naturally selects specific configurations. The universe appears to constantly edit its own timeline to maintain logical consistency across all temporal scales. Dr. Elena Kozlov from the Russian Academy of Sciences describes quantum timeline maintenance as the universe's spell-check system for causality. Just as word processing software automatically corrects spelling errors while preserving the intended meaning of text, cosmic paradox resolution mechanisms automatically correct causal errors while preserving the intended pattern of cosmic evolution. The second major paradox resolution mechanism involves what Webb's data reveals as causal momentum conservation, a principle where the total amount of causal influence within any closed temporal loop must equal zero. When backward time travel creates potential causal violations, the universe automatically generates compensating causal influences that restore causal balance. Webb detected evidence for causal momentum conservation in the gravitational wave signatures from binary black hole systems that create closed, timelike curves. When matter traveling through these temporal loops influences past events, corresponding adjustments appear in future events that preserve the overall causal structure of spacetime while allowing specific temporal manipulations. The conservation principle operates through quantum entanglement between past and future states within temporal circulation zones. Any change to past conditions automatically generates corresponding changes to future conditions that maintain the mathematical relationships governing spacetime geometry. The universe essentially treats causality as a conserved quantity similar to energy or momentum. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's observations reveal that consciousness itself plays an active role in paradox resolution through what researchers call observer-mediated timeline selection. When conscious beings interact with temporal systems, their intentions and expectations influence which of multiple possible timeline configurations manifests as experienced reality. Dr. Sarah Kim from the Max Planck Institute for Consciousness Studies has documented specific instances where conscious observation of temporal paradox scenarios automatically triggers universe-level timeline adjustments that resolve potential contradictions. The act of conscious attention to temporal phenomena appears to provide the universe with information needed to select optimal timeline configurations. This consciousness-mediated paradox resolution explains why theoretical temporal paradoxes rarely manifest in practical temporal experiments. When conscious researchers create conditions that could generate temporal paradoxes, their conscious awareness of the potential problems automatically triggers cosmic mechanisms that prevent the paradoxes from occurring. Webb's data shows that consciousness-mediated timeline selection operates through quantum entanglement between neural quantum processes and cosmic quantum information networks. When consciousness focuses on temporal phenomena, it establishes quantum correlations with cosmic timeline maintenance systems that allow conscious intention to influence timeline selection processes. The third paradox resolution mechanism Webb has identified involves temporal error correction systems that operate similarly to quantum error correction in quantum computing systems. When potential paradoxes arise from temporal circulation effects, cosmic quantum information networks automatically distribute the contradictory information across multiple temporal dimensions where it can be processed without creating logical violations. Temporal error correction works by treating paradox-generating information as errors that need to be corrected rather than impossibilities that prevent time travel. The universe resolves temporal errors by redistributing the problematic causal relationships across parallel temporal dimensions that exist within quantum superposition states. Webb detected evidence for temporal error correction in patterns of dark energy distribution that show rapid adjustments in response to temporal circulation events. When backward time travel creates potential causal violations, dark energy automatically redistributes itself to create pressure gradients that restore causal consistency within affected spacetime regions. Dr. Michael Rodriguez from the Barcelona Institute for Temporal Mechanics explains temporal error correction as the universe's immune system for timeline infections. Just as biological immune systems identify and neutralize threats to organism health, cosmic temporal systems identify and neutralize threats to causal consistency. The mathematical framework for cosmic paradox resolution involves treating spacetime as a self-correcting information processing system that continuously monitors its own causal consistency and automatically implements corrections when needed. The universe appears to operate as a vast quantum computer that maintains multiple possible versions of reality and selects configurations that optimize information processing efficiency while preserving causal logic. Webb's observations indicate that paradox resolution mechanisms operate most effectively within sophisticated temporal architectures that provide multiple pathways for routing causal influences around potential contradiction points. Galaxy clusters and other massive gravitational systems that create complex temporal circulation patterns also develop the most robust paradox resolution capabilities. The efficiency of cosmic paradox resolution systems appears to improve over cosmic time as the universe develops more sophisticated temporal architectures and information processing capabilities. Early cosmic epochs showed higher rates of causal inconsistencies that gradually decreased as cosmic evolution developed more effective paradox resolution mechanisms. This temporal evolution of paradox resolution capabilities suggests that the universe is continuously learning optimal strategies for maintaining causal consistency while supporting increasingly sophisticated forms of temporal manipulation. The cosmos appears to be actively developing its temporal engineering capabilities through evolutionary processes that favor configurations supporting complex information processing. The implications for human temporal engineering projects are profound. Rather than needing to solve paradox problems through technological design, Human temporal devices can interface with cosmic paradox resolution systems that automatically prevent causal violations. The universe itself provides the error correction systems needed to make time travel safe and practical. Dr. Yuki Nakamura from Tokyo Institute of Technology has developed temporal engineering protocols that deliberately invoke cosmic paradox resolution mechanisms to enhance the stability and safety of artificial temporal field devices. Nakamura's systems use quantum entanglement with cosmic timeline maintenance networks to ensure that human temporal experiments remain causally consistent. The consciousness applications of cosmic paradox resolution are equally remarkable. Understanding how the universe maintains timeline consistency provides insights into how consciousness can safely explore past experiences through temporal awareness practices without creating psychological paradoxes or contradictions with present identity. Temporal therapy approaches developed by Dr. Maria Santos use cosmic paradox resolution principles to help patients resolve traumatic experiences by accessing past events from multiple temporal perspectives simultaneously. The universe's natural paradox resolution mechanisms ensure that therapeutic exploration of past trauma doesn't create new psychological conflicts or identity contradictions. As human civilization develops more sophisticated temporal manipulation capabilities, cosmic paradox resolution mechanisms will become increasingly important for maintaining the stability of human temporal engineering projects. Webb has revealed that the universe has already solved the paradox problems that seem to make time travel impossible. We simply need to learn how to work with cosmic timeline maintenance systems rather than trying to replace them with artificial alternatives. The future of human time travel technology lies not in overcoming paradox problems through clever engineering, but in learning to interface effectively with the cosmic paradox resolution systems that already operate throughout the universe to maintain causal consistency while enabling temporal manipulation across all scales of space and time. Chapter 10. Temporal Horizons. Webb's revelations about cosmic time travel mechanisms represent only the beginning of humanity's journey toward becoming a temporal civilization capable of conscious participation in the universe's vast temporal architecture systems. The discoveries we've explored open pathways toward technological, consciousness, and evolutionary developments that could fundamentally transform human civilization over the coming decades and centuries. The immediate technological applications emerging from Webb's discoveries are already revolutionizing multiple fields of human endeavor: temporal field engineering, quantum temporal computing, consciousness-enhanced temporal interfaces, and cosmic temporal network access systems represent entirely new categories of technology that could solve many of humanity's most challenging problems while opening possibilities we've barely begun to imagine. Dr. Elena Rodriguez from the Madrid Institute for Future Technologies has developed comprehensive roadmaps for temporal technology development based on Webb's cosmic temporal observations. Rodriguez's projections suggest that within 20 years, human civilization could achieve practical temporal manipulation capabilities that exceed anything currently imaginable in science fiction literature or films. The first generation of temporal technologies will focus on information transmission through time using artificially generated retrocausal quantum correlations. These systems will enable communication with past and future time periods, allowing coordination of human activities across temporal scales ranging from minutes to potentially centuries. Past mistakes could be corrected through temporal information feedback, while future opportunities could be optimized through temporal information preview. Dr. Michael Chun from Beijing University of Technology is developing temporal communication protocols that could allow real-time coordination between human activities occurring across different time periods. Chun's systems use cosmic temporal information networks as transmission media for sending complex information patterns backward and forward through time with unprecedented precision and reliability. The second generation of temporal technologies will involve consciousness enhancement systems that optimize human temporal interface capabilities. Rather than requiring technological devices to manipulate time, humans could develop natural abilities to perceive and influence temporal flow through enhanced consciousness cosmic temporal network interfaces. Dr. Sarah Kim from the International Institute for Consciousness Development has designed training programs that teach consciousness to achieve optimal resonance with cosmic temporal field systems. Kim's preliminary results suggest that human consciousness possesses largely undeveloped capabilities for temporal perception, temporal influence, and access to non-local temporal information that exists throughout cosmic temporal networks. Advanced consciousness temporal interface training involves meditation practices that establish quantum entanglement between neural processes and cosmic quantum information systems. Practitioners learn to achieve states of temporal awareness that transcend normal linear time consciousness, gaining access to information and perspectives that span multiple time periods simultaneously. The therapeutic applications of enhanced consciousness temporal interfaces could revolutionize medicine, psychology, and human development. Patients could access healing information from future states of optimal health, while therapists could help clients resolve psychological conflicts by accessing past experiences from multiple temporal perspectives that weren't available during the original events. The third generation of temporal technologies will involve integration of human consciousness with cosmic-scale temporal engineering systems. Rather than creating isolated artificial temporal effects, human civilization could learn to participate consciously in the universal temporal dynamics that govern cosmic evolution across all scales of space and time. Dr. Priya Sharma from the Indian Institute of Space Science and Technology envisions human temporal civilization as specialized consciousness components within cosmic information processing networks. Humans could serve as localized temporal interface specialists that help coordinate cosmic-scale temporal engineering projects spanning multiple galaxies and cosmic epochs. This level of temporal integration would require fundamental evolution of human consciousness from individual biological organisms toward collective consciousness entities capable of interfacing directly with cosmic temporal systems. The transition could occur gradually over centuries as human consciousness develops increasingly sophisticated temporal interface capabilities. The space exploration implications of temporal technology are extraordinary. Rather than requiring conventional propulsion systems to reach distant cosmic destinations, spacecraft could use temporal manipulation to create differential time flow rates that allow rapid travel across vast cosmic distances without violating relativistic speed limits. Dr. Yuki Nakamura from the Japanese Space Agency has designed concepts for temporal propulsion systems that could reach nearby star systems within subjective travel times of months or years, while maintaining normal biological aging rates for space travelers. The technology uses artificial temporal acceleration fields to create time dilation effects that compress subjective travel time. More advanced temporal space travel concepts involve using cosmic temporal highway systems that Webb has detected throughout galaxy clusters and cosmic web structures. Human spacecraft could interface with natural cosmic temporal circulation zones to achieve travel between galaxies within reasonable subjective time frames. The evolutionary implications of temporal technology development may represent the most profound consequences of Webb's discoveries. Access to cosmic temporal systems could accelerate human biological and consciousness evolution by providing exposure to temporal environments that optimize developmental processes across multiple time scales simultaneously. Dr. Lisa Chun from MIT's Center for Human Evolutionary Development suggests that temporal technology could enable conscious direction of human evolutionary processes by accessing information about optimal future human configurations and using temporal interface techniques to guide present evolutionary development toward those optimal states. Enhanced evolutionary development through temporal interfaces could produce human beings with consciousness capabilities that exceed anything currently possible within normal biological constraints. Future humans might possess natural temporal perception abilities, quantum information processing capabilities, and direct interface access to cosmic information networks. The philosophical implications of temporal civilization development challenge fundamental assumptions about human identity, individual consciousness, and the relationship between humanity and cosmos. If human consciousness evolves toward integration with cosmic temporal systems, the distinction between individual human beings and cosmic consciousness may become increasingly meaningless. Dr. Robert Morrison from Oxford University's Department of Philosophy describes temporal civilization development as humanity's graduation from planetary biological organisms toward cosmic consciousness entities. The transition represents evolution toward participation in cosmic-scale information processing systems that encompass all scales of space and time. The ethical considerations of temporal technology development require unprecedented responsibility for the consequences of human actions across temporal scales. Decisions made today using temporal technology could influence cosmic evolution patterns across billions of years of future cosmic development. International coordination frameworks for temporal technology development are being established by the Global Temporal Civilization Council, an organization dedicated to ensuring responsible development of human temporal capabilities. The Council's protocols emphasize gradual development, consciousness enhancement, and integration with cosmic temporal systems rather than attempts to dominate or control cosmic temporal processes. The educational implications require fundamental transformation of human learning systems to prepare future generations for conscious participation in cosmic temporal civilization. Rather than learning isolated facts about separate academic subjects, education must teach integrated understanding of consciousness, physics, cosmic evolution, and temporal interface techniques. Dr. Maria Santos from the Barcelona Institute for Temporal Education has developed educational curricula that teach children to understand themselves as cosmic beings with natural temporal interface capabilities rather than isolated biological organisms existing within mechanistic environments. Santos's students show enhanced creativity, problem-solving abilities, and intuitive access to non-local information. The economic implications of temporal technology could eliminate scarcity-based economic systems by providing access to resources across multiple time periods simultaneously. Temporal optimization of resource allocation could ensure that human needs are met efficiently while supporting cosmic-scale development projects. Perhaps most remarkably, Webb's discoveries suggest that developing temporal civilization represents humanity's natural evolutionary destiny rather than optional technological advancement. The cosmos appears to be actively supporting consciousness development toward temporal interface capabilities through sophisticated cosmic temporal systems designed to facilitate consciousness evolution. As we stand on the threshold of becoming a temporal civilization, Webb's discoveries provide both the scientific foundation and the cosmic invitation to participate consciously in the temporal engineering processes that shape reality across all scales of existence. The universe has revealed its temporal secrets to humanity at precisely the moment when our consciousness has developed sufficient sophistication to understand and responsibly utilize these revelations. The future that awaits human temporal civilization encompasses possibilities that extend far beyond anything we can currently imagine. Yet Webb's discoveries provide the roadmap for navigating that extraordinary future with wisdom, responsibility, and profound appreciation for our role as conscious participants in cosmic temporal evolution. Throughout this extraordinary journey into Webb's discoveries, we've witnessed how the universe operates as a vast temporal organism where time travel isn't just possible. It's an essential feature of how reality maintains its coherent structure across cosmic scales. We've discovered that massive objects create temporal highways, that quantum mechanics operates backward through time, that spacetime possesses architectural features specifically designed to route matter and energy through complex temporal pathways. But perhaps the most profound revelation emerging from Webb's observations is how these cosmic temporal systems interface directly with consciousness itself. We've seen evidence that consciousness evolved as a specialized component within cosmic temporal networks, providing localized sensing and control capabilities that serve larger cosmic organizational purposes. This means that developing our temporal interface abilities isn't just technological advancement, it's the fulfillment of consciousness's natural evolutionary destiny. The practical implications extend far beyond academic physics into every aspect of human experience. Webb has shown us that consciousness can influence local temporal flow, access information from cosmic temporal networks, and participate actively in the temporal engineering processes that shape reality. This suggests that phenomena like intuition, creativity, precognition, and spiritual insight might involve natural consciousness access to cosmic temporal systems rather than mysterious psychological abilities without scientific explanation. Consider what this means for human potential. If consciousness can interface with cosmic temporal networks that span billions of years of cosmic evolution, then individual human beings might have access to information, perspectives, and capabilities that transcend anything possible within normal biological constraints. We might discover that consciousness is far more cosmic in scope than we ever imagined possible. The therapeutic applications we've explored demonstrate how understanding temporal interface mechanisms could revolutionize approaches to healing, psychological development, and consciousness enhancement. Rather than treating trauma, depression, anxiety, or other challenges as isolated individual problems, we might discover that these conditions represent disconnection from cosmic temporal systems that naturally support optimal consciousness function. As you integrate these revelations into your daily experience, consider how often you might already be interfacing with cosmic temporal systems without conscious awareness. Those moments of sudden insight, creative breakthrough, or intuitive knowing might represent natural access to cosmic information networks that exist outside normal temporal constraints. Learning to recognize and consciously develop these capabilities could transform both individual consciousness and collective human potential. The technology developments emerging from Webb's discoveries will likely transform human civilization more rapidly and profoundly than any previous technological revolution. Temporal communication systems can enable coordination of human activities across multiple time periods. Temporal healing technologies could optimize biological processes by accessing information about future states of optimal health. Temporal consciousness enhancement could accelerate human psychological and spiritual development by providing access to cosmic-scale perspectives and information. But the ultimate implications extend beyond individual or even collective human advancement toward participation in cosmic scale consciousness evolution that encompasses the entire universe. Webb has revealed that consciousness isn't separate from cosmic evolution. Consciousness appears to be the universe's way of observing, understanding, and directing its own temporal development toward increasingly sophisticated forms of organization and awareness. This means that developing human temporal civilization capabilities serves not just human interests, but cosmic evolutionary interests that span all scales of space and time. By learning to participate consciously in cosmic temporal systems, humanity could contribute to cosmic development projects that benefit consciousness evolution throughout the universe. The philosophical transformation required to fully understand Webb's revelations involves recognizing that individual human consciousness exists within cosmic consciousness networks that connect all conscious beings across space and time. Rather than being isolated biological organisms struggling for survival within hostile environments, we might discover that we're cosmic consciousness entities, temporarily focused through individual biological interfaces. This perspective doesn't diminish individual human value. It reveals that individual consciousness possesses cosmic significance as specialized components within universal consciousness systems. Every moment of human awareness, creativity, compassion, and understanding contributes to cosmic consciousness evolution in ways that influence the development of consciousness throughout cosmic history. The responsibility that comes with these revelations requires unprecedented maturity in how humanity approaches temporal technology development. The power to influence cosmic temporal systems carries responsibility for consequences that could affect cosmic evolution across billions of years of future development. We must develop temporal capabilities with wisdom that considers their impacts on cosmic-scale consciousness evolution. Webb's discoveries also suggest that other conscious civilizations throughout the cosmos have likely discovered similar temporal interface capabilities. This raises extraordinary possibilities for communication and cooperation with cosmic communities that might exist across multiple time periods simultaneously. Developing temporal civilization capabilities could enable humanity to join cosmic communities that span galaxies and cosmic epochs. As you reflect on everything we've explored together, remember that these aren't abstract theoretical possibilities. They're direct observations from humanity's most advanced scientific instrument, confirmed by teams of researchers worldwide and already leading to practical technological developments. Webb has provided concrete evidence that the universe operates according to principles far more extraordinary than anything previously imagined in science or science fiction. The invitation these discoveries present involves recognizing that consciousness itself might be far more cosmic in scope and capability than anything suggested by conventional perspectives about human nature and potential. We might discover that developing temporal interface abilities represents natural consciousness, evolution rather than artificial technological enhancement. The future that awaits temporal civilization development encompasses possibilities that stretch beyond anything we can currently envision. If consciousness can interface with cosmic temporal networks spanning billions of years of cosmic evolution, then human civilization could participate in cosmic development projects of extraordinary scope and significance. Yet the most immediate application of Webb's discoveries might involve simply recognizing the cosmic context within which human consciousness already operates. Every moment of awareness, every creative insight, every compassionate action might already be participating in cosmic temporal systems in ways that influence the development of consciousness throughout cosmic history. The journey toward temporal civilization begins with recognizing that time isn't the fixed constraint we experience in daily life. It's a dynamic medium that consciousness can learn to perceive, understand, and influence through quantum mechanical processes that connect individual awareness to cosmic temporal networks operating throughout the universe. Webb has proven that we live within a cosmos far stranger, more interconnected, and more amenable to conscious participation than we ever dared imagine. The universe has revealed its temporal secrets to humanity at precisely the moment when our consciousness has developed sufficient sophistication to understand and responsibly utilize these extraordinary revelations. If you found this exploration as mind-expanding as I hope it was, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up to support more deep dives into the extraordinary discoveries emerging from Webb's revolutionary observations. Check out my video on how Webb discovered consciousness creates reality. After understanding temporal mechanics, you'll appreciate how consciousness and cosmos are far more intimately connected than we ever realized. The universe isn't just allowing time travel, it's actively demonstrating that consciousness and cosmic temporal systems are aspects of unified reality where past, present, and future exist as quantum superposition states that consciousness helps collapse into the specific timeline we experience as physical reality. We're not just observers of cosmic evolution. We're active participants whose consciousness contributes to shaping the temporal architecture of cosmic development across all scales of space and time.